Hi Soul Family, how are y'all doing? I'm not sure if you can hear my little background music. I will sometimes do that if I need to calm my nerves, or I just want a little bit of a uplifting sound in the background for me. So it's on my television. I'll just turn it down in case it's distracting. And then of course we have the sound of rain. It is a very rainy day. It's beautiful. I am so happy about it. It's gonna make our grass very pretty. And overall, it's just, it's nice to have a rainy day every once in a while and cooler temperatures. So anyway, I wanted to start with a positive quote, and that is plant kindness and gather love. Now that is a proverb, perhaps maybe an ancient proverb, I'm not sure, but it's a proverb that I found on the end of my tea bag, and I thought I would share that with you. I would show you, but I actually pinned it to my bulletin board just for fun and to look at later. It'll bring me a smile. So I tend to try and do little things here and there that put a smile on my face, and I like to display acts of self-love in different ways, and that includes keeping a clean environment, little home I have here. So welcome and thank you for watching. So I wanted to talk to you about the power of your thoughts and the power of your words and how it affects yourself, others, and the environment around you. So to start, I would recommend setting an intent for each day. For example, today or last night, even before I started my day, I told myself that I wanted to have a day of studying. So I've been studying all day today, various things, including a lecture from my degree. It's science related. It's just something I'm studying because I want to go back to school and I want to have a solid foundation of everything I learned before I go back. So start an intent with your day. And then another thing that has helped me is journaling affirmations. And so there's this book. Let me think. I was just listening to the audiobook. It is How to Play the Game of Life. And it gets deep into the power of your words and how the things that you say and do will reflect back to you, and how you can manifest certain outcomes in your life just by making jokes. It's just important to be mindful of the words that you speak out loud and the thoughts you allow yourself to think. And if you are having a negative thought come through, a harsh, painful, angry thought, sit with that thought, treat it as if it were a child, and nurture that thought. Be with it. Don't avoid it. Don't resist it. Because as they say, resistance creates persistence. I wanted to make sure I was saying that correctly. Anyway, so starting your day, affirmations, journal. Typically, I roll out of bed, and without question, I should probably brush my teeth the first thing, but I literally have my mind programmed to where I will just jump on my yoga mat first thing in the morning. I will light a candle, light an herb if I feel an herb, as in Palo Santo or sage. No drugs allowed, kids. And I will like to typically have a candle set in front of me while I stretch. If it's if I've been going through something, and what I'll do is I'll sit there and as I'm stretching, I will say things out loud, affirmations, things that I want reflected into my reality. Some examples include, I am beautiful, I am safe, I am healthy. Those are things I said today. And I do this because fire is a really excellent transmuter of energy. And even if you have negative things to say, I wouldn't recommend saying them out loud. Something I like to live by is, if you have nothing good to say, then don't say it at all. That thought and that mantra has changed my life. So in the morning, start your day with an intent. Send yourself loving energy. Go with some affirmations and just create a positive environment for you at the start of your day. That's important. So Dr. Masaru Emoto, he did a research study about how talking to water can actually change its crystalline form. So he took water in a glass, in separate glasses, and he exposed some of the water to music that was really harsh, negative, said nasty things to the water, and then he had another group of water where he exposed it to beautiful music, said nice, kind, positive things to it, and he froze the water, and under a microscope, the crystals with the positive affirmations, the positivity, they were beautiful, symmetrical crystals, and the ones that were spoken to and treated harshly, exposed to negativity, those were, and I quote, ugly crystals and unsymmetrical. So they also did a similar study with plants, where one group of plants was talked to negatively, the other positively. And I will mention that the positive group was also exposed to other plants. And in this study, it is stated that the negative group, it stopped growing to a certain point. It didn't look as healthy, while the positive group kept growing rapidly, and it interacted positively with other plants. So having social interaction positively influenced the plant's growth. So if you think about it, of course, we're all made up of cells. Our cell tissue is slightly different than plants. However, we're 70% water. So if you are constantly saying harsh things to yourself, the likelihood of you living as long and living a healthy, abundant life is not as high. And I say this because your body will physically start aging faster when you are in a stressed out state, when you are in a negative state of being. And that is because our bodies don't respond well, or water, of course, but our bodies and our brains, our state of being does not respond well to harsh negative behavior. So positive thoughts can improve your attitude, your appearance. It can change the environment around you. Our thoughts and words and our state of being can affect people across the world. Science has shown lately, new research studies. So, and even if you think about it, when you have a friend or a group of friends, and if you're really kind to them and you love them and you show them appreciation, talk very positively around them, you tend to keep that group of friends, or that 1 to 2 friends that you have. Now, if you show up around a group of people and you are speaking very negatively towards them, or even about yourself, and you are hurting people with your words and actions, it's not likely that those people will stick around. I mean, you're guaranteed about a 99.9% chance that they won't. Unless you've known them for forever and it's just something you're going through. But I do recommend to change your thoughts, you need to ground yourself in the moment, observe your thoughts, and try to reinforce positive thoughts in place of them. And realize that you aren't your mind, you are your mind's observer. You're like your mind's parent. So you must discipline these thoughts, reinforce positive ones, and take the time to show yourself love so that your mind will be a mirror of that love. So, another thing I wanted to talk about is energy. Whether you're familiar with this concept or not, it's a scientific fact. So, everything is energy. Everything from the surfboard to the thought patterns that I put out. And you have to think of your thoughts and words as waves of energy. So if you imagine throwing a rock into a pond, it creates a ripple effect. It's the same thing with your... I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by my hair got in my tea, so I'm just playing around here. You have to realize that your thoughts and words can create ripple effects into the environment and physically change your environment. Now, with everything being energy, that opens me up to another subject, which is death. And if you are sensitive, or I mean, not sensitive in a negative way, but if you have a hard time processing this subject, then perhaps you want to change this video. But I just want to discuss the concept of death with you and put it in a scientific manner, concept, if you will. Something that has helped me cope is realizing that death is not a literal concept. It's a temporary illusion that we perceive as permanent. So, Isaac Newton, he has a law of conservation of energy, and he was a scientist back in the 1800s, I'm pretty sure, as far as the time period, but yes, he was a scientist. And he came up with the law of conservation of energy, which states that energy cannot be transferred. Sorry. I got off on the deep end there. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed. Now, what we have to realize is we aren't this physical body. We are our soul. And our soul emanates from source, which is love and light. And when we physically pass on, our soul remains, our consciousness remains. And I say this because I have witnessed, well, I've had a near-death experience. It was very short-lived, but it was interesting. But I have seen and encountered a lot of other near-death experiences and heard a lot of stories about how we don't perceive death as we witness it. Our soul remains conscious after we die. So our soul is timeless, and our soul carries an eternal blueprint, which is where karma comes into play. I apologize if you are strict on your beliefs as far as spirituality and religion go. Perhaps this isn't the video, or this isn't the kind of thinking you want to encounter. However, I like to point to truth. I like to find the truth in things. And when I've experienced death in my family, this concept really helped me cope and get through the loss of a loved one, or multiple. So your soul remains conscious after you pass on, and you go to the higher state of being, which some people perceive as heaven, or it's just the all-knowing, right? And I will link some encounters people have had with Source below, and I recommend doing your own research. But I wanted to bring this up because death is an illusion, and separation is an illusion. So we truly cannot be separated from Source. And our thoughts and our words impact others, because no one and nothing is separate, because separation is an illusion. When you pass on, you shed all of the negativity, any kind of low vibrational frequency. And by frequency, I want to explain. So energy exists in the form of waves. So when you think of a flashlight, you are actually looking at a light bulb creating energy, which consists of photons, which is a form of energy in the form of waves. And waves, if you remember from physics, waves consist of they have a certain wavelength, and the frequency is how fast each wavelength reoccurs. Light being the fastest wavelength. Frequency. So frequency is how often those wavelengths occur. So I'll try to come up with a way to describe that better in the future, or make some kind of visual. However, when you are in a high vibrational frequency, you are experiencing love, gratitude, appreciation. When you are in a low state of frequency, a low vibrational frequency, you are in a mentally fearful, angry, worried, anxious state. It's just a lower state of consciousness. So it's important to be mindful of the thoughts and the words that you put out into this world. And what you need to realize is none of us are alone. So when you're spending time alone, You are divinely protected by your ancestors who have passed on, because their energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It is just transformed. It's always in existence. So you're always surrounded by your loved ones. So when you physically lose somebody, they're still with you. They're around you. I hope that helps you get through what you're going through as far as loss, because, you know, I've had grandparents and I've lost all of them, and it's comforting to think that I can actually talk to them or even ask them for guidance. And I will, quite often. I miss my grandmother, the one I was close to. Other than that, I still refer to all my ancestors as spirit guides. You have to realize that just because they're not here physically does not mean they're not here. They're transformed, and most, if not all of the times, their energy is transformed into the love vibration, and the love vibration is all around us. They're always here guiding us. So even though you can't see them, they're still not separate from us. So take time, sit with your thoughts, write down your affirmations, and send yourself tons of love. I love y'all. Thank you for listening, and share this video. Links are down below. Subscribe and like it if you want to come back to it later to show somebody. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and y'all take care.